Hello friends! Today we are going to take a look at a repair I did a few years ago on a guitar that belongs to a friend of mine. He bought it ages ago, maybe the late 80s or early 90s, something like that. He was told it was a 1960s Telecaster, but with the color sanded off and a new neck. And we're going to test that. Now, however, all the pots are scratchy, the three-way switch doesn't work well, and the neck pickup is silent. Hopefully, that's just a switch as well. So let's open this up and take a look at what we have. The back serial number is from 1964, so that's correct, but the neck indeed is from the 80s. And Fender didn't do any natural colored Telecasters in 1964, so yes, the color has been sanded off. And probably what happened is that the neck broke and somebody decided to put a new neck on and make the whole thing look nice again. It would of course have been more valuable with the original lacquer, so no matter how crappy it looked, but that's life. We can however see little hints of color here and there. It's dark green. Fender did have a dark green at this time. It was called Sherwood green and it was a custom color, so 5% extra on the price. Fender lacquers was at this time often leftovers from the car industry, and this was in fact a metallic color, and I do think I can see some metallic specks in this color, so that tracks. So I do believe this originally would have been a Sherwood green 1964 Telecaster. If we look at the electronics, it's mostly original. The potentiometers have date stamps, but most of those are covered with solder, so I can't confirm the date. But the little bit I can see says 137, confirming that this is a CTS brand pot. So it's most likely original. That's what Fender used mostly at this point. The brown tone capacitor also looks like the ones Fender used in the 1960s. But there's an additional small capacitor soldered to the volume knob, and that capacitor says made in Sweden, so it's definitely not original. It is in fact a so-called treble mod. This capacitor bleeds the high frequencies past the volume knob, combating the problem that the tone gets darker when you turn down the volume knob, which is a typical thing on single coils. So, except for that mod, this guitar should sound authentically vintage. I'm not a guitar tone expert, but it sounds good to me. Then again, I'm partial to Telecasters in general. I cleaned the electronics to get rid of crackles, and that worked, but bad news, the neck pickup still was silent. Doing some investigations into the electronics, I quickly found that the neck pickup registered as an open circuit, so something is broken. The thread that pickups are wound with is very thin and fragile, so I need to be careful when investigating this. So I carefully took the cover off and unwrapped the tape around the coil and saw that somehow, I have no idea how, the thread had indeed broken. How does a coil thread taped and mounted in a guitar break? No idea. Options here are limited. Luckily, it's not a short circuit. Then a full rewound of the pickup would have been the only option. I don't know how to do that, and it would also risk changing the vintage tone. But in this case, I can possibly try to fix the issue by soldering the two loose ends together. It took multiple tries to get the thin threads to stay in place while soldering, but finally it worked. I sprayed the solder joint with lacquer to prevent any short circuits, put a new tape around the coil and mounted everything back. And yay! It worked! So time to put all of the other stuff together, and of course the pickguard is not original either. I think it would have been white originally. This one is new and black. I also think they have a tendency to shrink, and this one has not, so it's definitely newer. But other than that, it's original. And now the guitar is ready to rock for several more years. And yeah, that's all I have for this time. See you later, alligators.